Snack Time with Miss B. This week, we are going to make earth cookies. Let me show you how. Remember to wash your hands before you start preparing food. For today's recipe, you will need flour, sugar, white sugar, baking soda, baking powder, vanilla extract, 1 egg, butter at room temperature, you need it to be soft, and food coloring, green and blue. You will also need measuring cups and a measuring spoon, 1 teaspoon, a fork and a spoon for mixing, 2 bowls, and a baking tray with some wax paper or parchment paper for your cookies. So let's get started. Okay, first we're going to mix all the dry ingredients together. So we need our flour to start. So we need 2 3/4 of a cup of flour. So 1, you want to make sure it's exact, so you can use a knife to slide across the top. Make sure it's nice and level. So that's 2 cups. Now we need 3/4 of a cup. So I'm going to start with a half. And then a quarter, because half is 2/4. So instead of measuring this 3 times, do 1/2 cup and then 1/4. So altogether, it's 2 3/4 of a cup of flour. Next, I need my baking soda. So just 1 teaspoon of baking soda. Do that, and I'm going to do the same thing. Use my knife to make it nice and flat, and dump that in. And we need 1/4 of a teaspoon of baking powder. So we can level it off. 1/4 teaspoon, dump it in. Okay, so that's all the dry ingredients, and we want to make sure we mix those well, so use a fork and just mix it all up. There we go, it's all mixed together. Now we are going to mix the rest in our second bowl. So start with the butter. Now this can be a little bit messy. See here. So we want 1 cup of butter. Scoop it in. You want to push it down so there's no air holes underneath. You can use a spoon too, it might be a little easier to scoop it in. Press it down until it's full to the top. A little more. Lots of butter. But this recipe will make 48 cookies. So if that's too many cookies, you can always make half and then freeze the rest for later. So then scrape it out into your bowl, 1 cup. Okay. One cup of butter. Next, we're going to add the sugar. So we want to add 1.5 cups of sugar. Now because my measuring cup is dirty, I don't want to stick it in with all the sugar because the rest of the sugar will get dirty. So I'm going to use my spoon to fill it up, which will be a little slow, but that's okay. There we go. 1. Now we need 1/2 cup. Oops, that's 1/4. Half. Oops. There we go. 1.5 cups. Okay. Now we can take our fork. Up a bit, make some space. So now we want to mix this all together until it's really smooth. So you can take a fork and you're just going to keep on pushing, cutting the butter into the sugar. Like this. And it'll start to slowly come together and it's eventually going to look a little bit like wet sand. If you have a mixer at home, an electric mixer, you can also use that. But just make sure you ask a grown-up for help. And be careful because the ingredients can fly out of the bowl. See, it's starting to mix together. Okay, there we go. It's all mixed in together. Now, we're going to add in our egg. So 1 egg, crack it and put it in. Make sure you don't get any shells in. If you do, you want to take those out because nobody wants eggshell in their cookies. Okay, so the egg is in and now I'm going to mix it again. Go. And finally, we're going to add the vanilla. So we need 1 teaspoon of vanilla. This one again. Pour it nice and slowly till it gets to the top. And dump it in. And mix it all up. Okay, there we go. Now, we're going to slowly add in the dry ingredients to the wet ingredients, just a little bit at a time. So I'll take this and I'll shake in some. That's probably enough to start. Mix it up. Okay, add some more. So you'll see it's starting to get thicker and thicker, and it's looking more like cookie dough. Okay, last little bit. You don't want to see any flour chunks left. It should be all mixed in. It should be all the same color. There we go. Okay, I'm going to clean up a little bit before the next step. Okay, now we want to separate the dough into two bowls. So you want it to be about half and half. More. Okay, I think that's about half. Okay, so now you have two bowls. Now, we're going to make one blue and one green. Let's make the blue bowl blue and the green bowl, or this bowl green. So just start off with a few drops of food coloring, because if you put too much, then it might start to taste a little bit funny. So if you have a bottle like this, you have to be extra careful because it's hard to put in just a couple drops at a time. So you might even want to pour it on a spoon first. Just put a little bit. You can always add more, but you can't take it out. So there we go. Just, I don't know if you can see, just a little bit. Mix it in. I want to mix, mix, mix. Yes, we can see. See, it's starting to turn blue. I think that's pretty good. Nice and blue. Put the lid on this. Oops. Now we're going to do the same thing with green. So first, pour a little bit on your spoon. I'm going to empty my spoon. There we go. Okay, just put a little bit on your spoon and then you can mix it in. Pour nice and slowly. Mix it in. Okay, try that. That's looking better. Okay, there. Now we have a blue and we have a green. I have a special helper here to help me with the next step. Can you say hi?
Yeah.
Great. So what we want to do is we want to take a little bit of blue and a little bit of green and put it together to make the ball for the cookie. Okay, so you want to take, we can show you how. Take a pinch of the blue. Good, a pinch of the green, just like that. You're going to use a cookie sheet. I have a reusable silicone baking mat that you can put down some parchment paper. And don't put them too close together. Yeah, perfect. Just like that. Okay, and you can keep going. So grab a pinch of the blue, pinch of the green, and you can just kind of squish it on top and then even give it a little twist. And then roll it into a ball. Oh, sorry. Ooh, reach. Great. Yeah, not too big. Perfect. That'll be a big cookie. Okay, so they'll look something like that. And it's okay if they all look different because then they'll be nice and unique. Nice. There we go. Here, I'll give you some here. You're welcome. So if you want, you can put them side by side and then just twist the ends a little bit and then sort of flatten it into a ball. Okay, so once your tray is full, you'll probably fit about 12 cookies on there. We're going to wash our hands and stick these in the oven. Turn on the oven and preheat it to 190 degrees Celsius. You need to wait for the oven to preheat before you put the cookies in. Once the oven is preheated, ask a grown-up for help and place the cookies in the oven for 8 to 10 minutes to bake. Continue rolling all the cookie dough into balls. You can bake them at the same time if you have a nice big oven, or just when one tray comes out, put the next batch on that tray and then put it in the oven. After 8 to 10 minutes, you can get a grown-up to help you carefully remove the cookies from the oven. Let the cookies rest for about 5 minutes before moving them to a cooling rack or a plate. Well done! There's nothing better than a homemade cookie. Enjoy!